you a little bit about my project. As you probably can hear, I'm not Belgian, I'm American. I'm just studying in Belgium. But I'm writing my thesis about how people use YouTube to form these communities of support. And I decided to focus on people with multiple sclerosis because there seems to be a lot of blogs that are dedicated to that on YouTube. And then I'm kind of expanding a little bit to blogs and other online activities, but it's really about the community and relationship aspect of YouTube. So that's kind of what the questions are going to be more about.
Okay.
Is that cool?
Yeah.
Okay. So I know you haven't really been that active on the blog or on your video blog recently, but at the beginning you seemed to be posting a couple of times a month. So I guess if you could just start and say what motivated you to start posting videos on them.
Well, from the beginning of my diagnosis, I had decided that I was going to be as open as possible about my experience because as soon as I had heard the words, you have multiple sclerosis, I started looking into everything, and I noticed that a lot of people tend to be embarrassed, for lack of better terms, of their disease. They try to hide it, they didn't want people to know, and I didn't understand that. I felt like, it's not like this was a result of a lifestyle that we chose that we should be ashamed of. You get the flu, you don't try to hide it, you just got the flu, you're sick. And it's the same thing with MS. It's a little bit more severe than the flu, obviously, but, I felt like, well, let me be as open as possible because it'll help other people who are newly diagnosed learn more about the disease and realize that it's not the end of the world necessarily.
Yeah, that seems to be the motivating factor behind a lot of people. They getting what I kind of have observed, it seems to be that the main motivations are either to connect with other people who are in similar circumstances, but also to inform. So a lot of your videos are informative. This is what I'm doing, but also these are my motor skills, and this is what I'm working on. That kind of thing.
And as time has progressed, my different reasonings for doing my blog. Obviously, I haven't been on top of the videos, but that was a result of technical difficulties. But I got things hopefully set up again, so I should be starting that back up pretty soon. But yes, that's another big factor to why me and a lot of other people, use YouTube to connect with other people, is because in our day-to-day lives, we don't bump into too many people who have MS or who have similar diseases. So the average person, they can try to sympathize with you or empathize with you, but they won't ever fully understand what you're going through. So by using YouTube and other social network websites, it allows us to form our own community of friends and support where we might not be able to find that anywhere else.
Yeah. In one of your blogs, I think it was on your blog, you wrote about how your relationships have changed with people from before you were diagnosed. Can you talk a little bit about how the diagnosis has affected your relationship with friends and family?
Well, anytime you go through a time of severe need, you're going to see the true colors of the people around you, and they're not always colors you like to see. And, so at the beginning of my diagnosis, there were a lot of people who I expected to be by my side who weren't, and there were a lot of people who I didn't expect to be by my side who were. And, it's confusing at first because you're kind of looking up to certain people to be there for you in a certain way, and you get let down. And you can't, at least in my experience, you can't hold everybody completely accountable for that because it's rough all around for everybody. Not everybody knows how to deal with that situation inside or out. But as a patient with MS, you do have to kind of decide for yourself who you want to surround yourself with, because if you're surrounding yourself with people who are not supportive and who are hurting you initially, then it's not good for you in any way, shape, or form. And so yeah, I've lost a lot of friends, and I've distanced myself between a lot of people because of that. And I have also grown closer to other people as a result of MS who have been there for me.
Well, did you have experiences with people like hurting you, like your friends?
It definitely has affected the relationship aspect of my life, as far as girlfriends and stuff like that. The girlfriend I was with at the time of my diagnosis, it had put a lot of stress on the relationship, and that ended up ending it for us. And then a few months later, we had tried getting back together and tried working things out again, but it just, I think I couldn't blame this particular situation purely on the MS, but MS surely didn't help our relationship. It was already having troubles to begin with, and the MS just kind of pushed it over the edge. Another one of my best friends, who I've known for probably about 9 or 10 years, again, I couldn't blame it completely on the MS thing, but that surely didn't help. So I've lost a couple of really good friends, but I think it was for the better. As far as, you know, sometimes when you're in this position, you have to do what's best for you, and that might not be what you want. I didn't want to lose the people that I lost in my life, but I knew it's what I had to do for the better of my health.
Yeah. And, do you ever feel like you've been labeled as somebody with a disability or something with a disease? And how that has that ever, just like this process of stereotyping and labeling, has that ever affected your current or your old friends?
You kind of broke up at the end there.
Oh, okay. No, I wasn't sure. The question just popped into my mind, so I wasn't sure if I worded it correctly. But yeah, it's kind of just asking about how, the process of stereotyping, has that ever had an impact on, do you feel like you've been put into like a corner or something?
Not necessarily. The thing with my experience so far is I've had some severely debilitating moments in the, it's almost been a year. But for the most part, I've been able to hide my disabilities. You know, I think the average person seeing me in public wouldn't know there's anything wrong with me, because I do a very decent job at walking normally and not tripping in public and stuff like that. So I think the average person doesn't look at me as somebody who's disabled, so I don't feel like I have that issue with the stereotyping or the labeling. In fact, I'd say I have the opposite problem, where most people, including my doctors, look at me and think there's nothing wrong with you, when in fact I feel there's a lot wrong with me.
Yeah, so it's kind of like this reverse situation where you have for yourself and you identify with this group, and then when people look at you, they don't automatically fit you inside those groups.
Right. And that's, I think that plays another, or that's another important reason to do these video blogs and this blogging and stuff and connect with these people is the average person doesn't understand what it's like to deal with all the little symptoms and all the invisible symptoms. They all build up. You know, if I explain one to the average person, they might think, oh, well, that happens to me too every once in a while. They don't understand when it happens 24/7 all day, plus with all these other symptoms building up. They don't understand what it's like to live with that and how debilitating that is mentally and emotionally, whereas these people that I'm connecting with online, they do understand because they're going through that same thing.